Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Moa, aka Swedish Whiskey Girl, and it's been a while. It's been a week, more than a week, because I've been unwell. So I had to take in, what's it called? I had to take some time off. It wasn't wanted, but my body just kind of shut down for a little bit. But I'm back, and we're not just back. We're back with Macallan, 18-year-old. I have had a lot of requests to review this. It seems like a lot of people like this one. It seems like a lot of people have this as their favourite one out of the Macallan range. I'd of course love to hear what your favourite Macallan is in the comment section here below. I have never tried this, I think. Maybe in a bar somewhere and someone ordered one. But the simple reason I haven't tried this is because I can't really afford this. I'm very, very lucky I get to try this because I got this in the mail, which is the perfect measure set from the Whiskey Exchange, and this isn't in collaboration with them, but this was gifted and it came with whiskies. It also has a drawer with even more whiskies, so it's quite cool. And I'm actually going to put this up on my Patreon, so if you are a patron and you would like to help me choose which one of these samples to review, if there's any one of you want to see, there's some Glendronach, some Talisker, some world whiskies in there, then I will put that up today, so help me choose. But we are going to have a look at the Macallan. It sits at 43, I think. Yeah, 43. It is 18 years old. This is the 2019 release we have here, and the 18 is part of their kind of sherry oak series, where they are exclusively matured in seasoned sherry casks. So I believe they use both American and European oak, but they season the casks with sherry from Jerez. And Macallan has a big kind of collaboration with a sherry bodega that they work with, and the sherry is kind of part of their signature in their whiskey. So excited! Let's start by having a look on the nose, and I'm all clear today, so I'm glad to be back. Oh, it's definitely sherry, isn't it? It's raisins. It also has a bit of oh, it popped up in my head and now it just completely vanished. Raisins, maybe a bit of kind of, what's it called? It's called resin. Sap, like what comes out of the trees. Because it definitely has like a fresh woodiness to it, which doesn't feel too dry. It just feels like the way wood can feel very fresh instead of being older and dry, or after rain when it's been raining. It just has like a fresh woody note to it. It also has a complexity to it, which I think you start getting with a lot of 18-year-olds, where everything kind of comes together and creates this core of the whiskey, where nothing is kind of sticking out in various directions too sharply, but they're all starting to become a little bit more well-rounded. I should also say, before we go any further and I forget, these retails are between 250 and 250 and 300 pounds, which is why I can't afford it. Even a sample of it is usually quite expensive. But if you do have the money, great for you. I wish I did. Almost a bit of ginger spice as well. I feel like this is one of those whiskies that just makes me think of like an old library in a good way. I love libraries. But yeah, raisin, a little bit of that fresh woodiness. It also has a lot of ginger spice. I think more ginger spice than cinnamon. The thing I'm looking for at the moment is the fruitiness, because it does have a fruitiness to it, but I can't quite pinpoint exactly what it is. Because it's something fresher than dried fruits. So it has raisins, but it also has something maybe like orange, because my thoughts are drawn towards citrus, but it's like a sweet citrus, and fresh and juicy. Yeah, let's see oranges, but let's have a little taste. Sláinte. First thing, I'm getting quite spicy, but it's also my first whiskey of the day. And because of that spiciness, it just feels a little bit hot. When it calms down, the finish of it brings out a little bit more flavours, a little bit more of the fruitiness. And I know this is a weird thing to say about a whiskey that's expensive, but this would match really well with ginger ale because it has that kind of gingery spice to it. Interesting. I used to absolutely not like ginger, but I'm finally getting around to it, which I don't know if I'm extra sensitive to picking it up, but because I'm starting to like it, maybe that's why it's kind of the main thing that sticks out to me. If you've tried Macallan 18, let me know if you think it has notes of ginger in it. The nose is becoming fruitier now, and it's really, really nice. Palate also has a bitter note to it, like a wood bitterness. That's probably the thing that lingers the most for me at the moment on the palates. Spice and that bitterness, and then afterwards when the fruitiness comes out, it binds everything together in a nice kind of unity. I mean, if you like that wood influence, which is like a bitter wood influence towards that direction, you probably like this. So it's like almost this kind of vegetal or like grassy bitterness in the wood, and then you get a little bit of ginger, and it does have the sherry flavour there. I wouldn't say it tastes a lot like raisins, but it might be because that bitterness just kind of coats everything and takes over at the moment. Yeah, I'm looking for that raisin note, and I mean it is sherried, but it's not raisins. So it's not the notes I'm getting, it's just, I think the issue is when you have started to taste sherries like Oloroso or PX, or you've tried Fino, or you've tried all these different versions, it's getting almost more difficult to describe what they taste like. Like you can describe them for what they are. You can see the PX is sweeter, it tastes like more like raisins, and then Oloroso is usually drier and has a little bit more of a bitterness for me. This reminds me of an Oloroso more because of that kind of tanniny bitterness. So it's difficult to describe what the sherry actually has notes of when you know what sherry is, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, very interesting whiskey. I didn't know what to expect with it, and I think 18-year-olds are really interesting to try because it's a nice age for whiskey. I think between 15 and 18 is this kind of golden age for whiskey where you can get some wonderful, wonderful flavours happening. It can of course happen for younger whiskies or older whiskies as well, but I don't know, if I get a whiskey which is between 15 and 18, that just makes me intrigued straight away. And then some of them will be this kind of woodier, has a bit more of that kind of classic, I think a lot of people associate this woodiness with like classic Scotch flavours, which I think is why a lot of people like this, which for me, this is. It's just a little bit maybe too bitter for my own personal palate, because I have a sweet tooth, or I prefer something maybe either smokier or sweeter or more fruity forward. I mean, sherry casks are really interesting, but they tend to be a little bit too much for me at the moment. So I usually go in the direction of like a nice ex-bourbon casks, but we're all different. We all know this already. So it's really interesting because sometimes with Islay whiskies as well, when you try them at this age, they just start turning into something different. I mean, we always have this discussion, me and some friends and with Cody as well. If you could only drink whiskies that were one specific age, so we were pretending non-age statement whiskies don't exist, but you could only have one age statement for all of your whiskies for the rest of the time, what would you choose? And I would choose somewhere maybe 16, because interesting. But I would love to hear what you think of the Macallan 18. Do you agree with my tasting notes? Do you have your own? Please let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you have liked the video, I would be thrilled if you would consider leaving a like and maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I've also put my affiliate links in the section here below to Master Malt, the Whisky Exchange and the Scotch Malt Whisky Society if you would like to support me while shopping with them. And of course, I also want to say a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. I'm so grateful that I have your support. But I hope to see you in the next video, and it won't be a week away, I promise, but only a few days. So I'll see you then. Sláinte Skål!